So hello and good morning to everyone. So in today's video we will be solving weekly contest 496. So let's start with question number 1, that is mirror frequency distance. So basically in this question we are given a string S which consists of alphabets from A to Z and digits from 0 to 9, right? And for each character there is a mirror character defined by reversing the order of character set. That means for A the mirror set is the last character, that is Z. For B it is Y, and so on. Similarly for digits, for 0 the mirror character is 9, for 1 it is 8, and so on. So for every character there is a mirror character defined. And what we have to do is then for each unique character present in the string, let suppose the mirror character of C is M. So what we have to do is we have to find the frequency of the character C and its mirror character M in the string, and then we have to take their absolute difference and add that difference in the answer. And at the end what we have to do is we have to return an integer which denotes the total sum of these values over all the distinct mirror pairs. So let's understand the question with one example. So we are given AB1Z9 where A has frequency 1, B has frequency 1 has frequency 1, Z has frequency 1, 9 has frequency 1. Now A and Z are mirror sets, both have frequency 1, so difference is equal to 0. So still our sum will be 0. Then we have B and Y. B has frequency 1, Y is not there, so frequency is 0, so difference is 1, so our sum will become 1. Then we have 1 and mirror of 1 is 8, so 8 is not present, so frequency of 1 is 1 and frequency of 8 is 0, so it also gives us difference 1. So this we will find the difference of all the pairs of all the pair character K, character C and mirror M, and add their differences in the sum, and at the end we return our result, that is the total sum. So here the total sum is 3. So the constraints are the string length can be up to 5 into 10 ki power 5, right? That is we have to think of some solution of big of n or n log n solution, right? And it is given that all are consist of lowercase English letters and digits. So let's see the approach. So what we will be doing is we will be first count frequency of each character of the string, right? Counting frequency and storing that frequency in a hash map, right? And then what we do is we iterate over the string again. Take a character C, find the mirror of that character, that is M, and then take the absolute difference of frequency of C and frequency of M and add that difference in the result. And after that what we do is we will mark their frequency of C and frequency of F as -1, so that will tell us that these characters are already processed, so we will not process those characters in the future, right? So let's see the code part. So we have taken a frequency vector whose size is 128 and all the values are initially 0, and then we have iterated over the string and increased the frequency of each character. Then we have declared answer as 0, and then we are again iterating over the each character in the string, and then check if the character is not pre-processed. If the character is not already processed, then we take the mirror of the character, right? We take the mirror of the character and then we take the absolute difference of the frequency of the characters and add that frequency in our answer, and then mark both the frequency of character and the frequency of mirror as -1 to show that they has been processed, so no need to process them again, and at the end we will be returning our answer. So let's move to the question number 2. So question number 2 is LeetCode 3890, that is integers with multiple sum of 2 cubes. So basically in this question we are given an integer n, and we are also given that an integer x is considered to be good if at least two distinct pairs of numbers a and b such that both are positive, a is less than equal to b, and a cube plus b cube is equal to x, like these three conditions hold, then that number is said to be good. So we have to return an array containing all the good integers which are less than or equal to n, and the array should be sorted in ascending order. right? So let's see one example to get it question more clearly. So we are given n is equal to 4104. So we have to find all the good numbers which are less than 4104. So we have a is equal to 1 and b is equal to 12. So a cube plus b cube is a cube plus b cube is 1729. Then we have a is equal to 9, b is equal to 10. Again a cube plus b cube is 1719. So for this number 1719 we have two pairs of a and b such that a cube plus b cube is that equal to that number. So this is one answer. Similarly we have another answer for 4104. So these are the two good numbers which are less than 4104, right? So let's see the constraints. So our n is up to 10 ki power 9, but what we want, we have to process a and b, we have to process a and b, and a cube plus b cube should be less than equal to n. This is what we want. So what can be the maximum value of a? So suppose if b is 0, then a cube is equal to and 10 ki power 9, then a can be maximum value of a can be 10 ki power 3, right? Maximum value of a can be 10 ki power 3. Similarly maximum value of b can be 10 ki power 3. So these are small values only. So what we do is, first of all we find the limit of a and b, like what is the maximum value of a and b. So for that we will be taking cube root of n ki power 1 by 3, right? We take cube root of n, then we make each possible pair of a and b, we make each possible pair of a and b and compute the sum, that is a cube plus b cube. After computing the sum, we store the frequency, we increase the frequency of this sum in a hash map, right? We store the frequency of this in a hash map. And finding after finding all the values of sum from all the pairs of a comma b, then we iterate over the map, iterate over the hash map, take all the sum values, take all the sum values whose frequency is greater than or equal to 2, because in the question we are asked to return all the sum values that has at least two possible values of a and b pairs, right? So we take all the sum whose frequency is greater than equal to 2 and store that sum in a result array. And also we are asked to return the result in ascending order, so we sort the result and return it. So let's move to the code part. So in the code we have taken an unordered map of int and int, and we have taken a vector called as answer. Then we find the limit, that is n ki power 1 by 3, limit of a and b. Then here I is denoting a, means a is equal to 1 to limit a plus plus. Then we computing a cube. Then this inner loop, this is denoting b, here we are computing, this is a cube, this is b cube, j is denoting b, j is denoting b. So we get sum. So if our sum is greater than n, because we need all the numbers lesser than or equal to n, so if it is greater than n, then we break the inner loop. Else we increase the frequency count of that sum in the hash map, right? After finding all the possible values of a and b and all the values of sum using that a and b, then we iterate over the map. And if the frequency of the value is greater than or equal to 2, then we push the value of the sum in the answer vector. So see, in map the number are stored as stored as pair, so it is iterator dot first and it is iterator dot second. So here second value is given as the frequency count and first value is given as the sum value. And after storing all the value of sum that has the frequency count greater than equal to 2, then we sort our answer array to make it in ascending order, and then we return the answer. So this is question 2. So let's move to the question number 3, that is lead code 3891, that is minimum increase to maximize special indexes. So basically in this question we are given an integer array nums whose length is n, and an index I is called a special index if its value is greater than its neighboring indexes. That is, nums of I is greater than its previous index and nums of I value is greater than its next index, then that index is called as special index. And we can even perform operations to make any index special by increasing its value by +1 every time. And our goal is to maximize the number of special indexes in the array, such that, and with that we have to minimize the total number of operations that we require to achieve the maximum number of special indexes. And at the end what we have to return is, we have to return an integer which denotes the minimum total number of operations required to maximize the special indexes, right? So let's see some examples to get the question more clearly. So in the first we have array 1, 2 and 2, right? And so we can only make this element as the special index, this index as the special index. So it is already greater than the previous element, but it is equal to the next element. So if we increase it by 1, it will become 1, 3 and 2. Now this index is a special index, right? So the number of operations is 1. So let's move to the next example. So in this example we are given the array 5, 2, 1, 4 and 3. So how many maximum special indexes we can have? So at max we can have 2 special indexes. So that can be either these two only. We can make these two indexes as the special index only. So to make this index as special, it should be greater than 5, that is, it should be equal to 6. So 6 minus 2, the cost is for this, the cost is 4. Then this index is already a special index, right? So no need to make it a special index. So the total number of operations is 4, right? So the output is 4. So if you'll see the constraints, n can be up to 10 to the power 5. So again, big of n solution or n log n solution we have to think of, and each element can be up to 10 to the power 9. So let's see the approach. So first thing, if I is a special index or I is a peak, we can say special index is a peak because its value is greater than its previous and next element. So if I is a peak, then I minus 1 and I plus 1 cannot be peaks. That's true, right? So isn't it similar to house robber problem, that you are given n houses and you have to maximize your profit by robbing those houses, but you cannot rob two alternative houses? So this question is almost similar to house robber problem. So what we do in this question, so for every index we have two options, that is either to make that index a peak or we can skip it. These two options that we have similar to that in the robber problem, that we can rob a house or we can skip that house. So if you notice, for computing our current answer we need previous answer. So this is pointing towards DP solution, right? So what can be our DP states? So our DP states will be using two variables, DP0. It will tell us the maximum number of special indexes, or maximum number of peaks till previous index where the previous index was not a peak, right? This is stored in DP0. And DP1 will tell us the maximum number of special indexes till previous index where the previous index, that is I minus 1, is also a special index. So we have taken two variables, right? That is DP0 and DP1. It is almost similar to the house robber problem where we take two variables, take and no take. So here take is DP1 and no take is DP0, right? Then let's see the DP transitions, like how we'll be transiting from one state to another in the DP. So if we are skipping the ith element, that is we are not making the current index as a peak or as a special index, then what we do is we will take the best of the previous one, that is I minus 1th. So in I minus 1th state we have DP0 and DP1. DP0 means the I minus 1 state is not a peak, and DP1 is telling that it is a peak, so we can take best of these two. Now see, these both are telling the number of peaks, so what we want maximum number of peaks. So if DP0 is greater than DP1, then we take DP1 state. If DP1 is greater than DP0, then we take DP1 state. But if both has the same number of peaks, like both have the same value, then we take the one which we have the minimum number of operations. We have minimum number of operations. So suppose if we are making DP0 by 5 operations and DP1 by 6 operations, so we take DP0 because the minimum, we want minimum number of operations. So in case 1 where we are skipping, we will be looking these three different things. Then the case 2 is make the ith index as peak. So if you are making ith index as peak, then I minus 1th index should not be a peak, right? So which state will give us this? So DP0 will give us this value, so we use DP0, right, to compute our new state DP1 for the ith index, right? And then we'll store cost, and we'll be storing cost and number of peaks. Cost is basically how many operations we have done, right? And number of peaks is like how many number of special indexes are there till that ith index, right? Because we want maximum special indexes and minimum number of operations. So let's see dry run to get it more clearly. And please be focused on this, because the next question number 4 is almost similar to question number 3 only. So we have taken nums arrays 5 2 1 4 3 where DP0 is 0 and cost 0 is 0. So initially we have 0 special indexes, and we get those in cost number 0. Then we have DP1 as minus infinity and the cost is infinity, right? So then we start from I is equal to 1. We start from index number 1. Now what is the cost to make it a peak? So we have 5 to 1. We have 5 to 1. So 5 to 1. So if you have to make it peak, then this should be greater than this. Then that means this should be equal to 6. So we have to do plus 1 how many times? 4 times. So the cost to make it peak is 4, right? So let's see the two cases. Case 1 is skip. So as we have already discussed, in the skip case we will take best of DP0 or DP1. So DP0 is 0 and DP1 is minus infinity, so we take best is DP0. So new DP state for I is equal to 1 is 0 comma 0, means 0 peaks, and the cost is also 0. Then case 2, if we make I is equal to 1 a peak, if we make I is equal to 1 peak, that means I is equal to 0. I is equal to 0 should not be a peak. So what is giving us the I is equal to 0 case? That is, so our new DP state, our new DP1 will be DP0, because DP0 is saying that at index number 0 we have DP0 peaks, but the index number 0 is not a peak. So DP0 plus the peak is increased by 1, so 0 plus 1, right? And the cost 1 new cost will be previous cost plus the current cost. So previous cost is 0 and current cost is 4. So this is our answer for I is equal to 1. Then we move to the I is equal to 2 state, and before that we have updated our DP states. So now our DP0 will become 0, cost is 0, and our DP1 will become 1 and cost is 1, such I is equal to 1 as a peak. If I is equal to 1 as peak, if I is equal to 0, if I is equal to 1 is not a peak, right? These are the states that are telling these things. Now we have moved to uh, our new state, that is then we are finding for I is equal to 2. So the cost to make I is equal to 2 as a peak is 5 minus 1 4, right? This is the cost to make I is equal to 2 a peak. So the case one is skipping means we take best of the previous state. So in previous state dp0 is equal to 0, dp1 is equal to 1. So here we have already one peak, so we will take this because we want to maximize the number of peaks. So we take dp1 as the state. So for I is equal to 2, our new dp0 is equal to 1 and cost of 0 is equal to 4, right? For I is equal to 1. Then the case 2 is we make I is equal to 2 as a peak. Then if we are making I is equal to 2 a peak, then I is equal to 1 should not be a peak, and this is given by dp0 state. So dp0 is 0 and cost 0 is also 0. So we use this state to compute our new dp1 and new cost 1. So 0 plus 1 it will become 1 and cost 0 is 0 plus current cost is 4, right? So after I is equal to 2, our dp0 will become 1 and cost 0 is become 4. That means this is for I is equal to 1 as the peak, and here dp1 is 1 and cos 0 is 4. Like this is telling that I is equal to 2 as a peak. So this way we will compute for I is equal to 3 and so on up to last index, right? And then the final answer will be the better one, like which one is giving us more peaks. If dp0 is greater than dp1, then we return cos 0. If dp1 is greater than dp0, then we return cost 1. If both means dp0 and dp1, that is both the number of peaks are same, then we return minimum of cost 0 and cost 1, right? So let's see the code. So in the code we have taken n is equal to the size of the array. Then we have taken dp0, which will tell as the maximum number of peaks till the previous index, where the previous index is not a peak or not a special index. And similarly dp1 is telling us the number of previous peaks till the previous index in which the previous index is a peak or a special index. This is told by dp0 and dp1. Then what we do is we'll move to the each index. We'll move to each index. Find the cost to make that index a peak. If we have to make that index a peak, that cost. Then the case one, if we do not want, if we are skipping it, if we are skipping the current index, then the new dp0 state and new cost 0 will be finding using the best of the dp0 and dp1, like these three cases. And if both are equal, then we take the minimum cost, right? Then we take the case 2. Case 2 means we are trying to make the ith index a peak value or a special index. So in this case the I minus 1 should not be a peak. That means we have to use dp0. So the number of new peaks will be dp0 plus 1, because the 1 is the ith one, and new cost will be the previous cost plus the current cost. Then we update our dp0 and dp1 states, and at the end what we return, if dp0 is greater than dp1, first we need maximum peaks. So we check which one is greater than dp0 is greater than dp1 is greater than. So using that we return the cost. But if both are equal, then we return the minimum cost of the two, right? So I hope I am able to explain you the three questions properly. So let's move to the question number 4. So like I must say you, before watching question 4 solution, please watch question 3 solution because both are almost somewhat similar to each other. So in question 4 we are given a circular integer array. So in question 3 the array is not circular, it's a normal array with length n, but here the array is circular, and at index I is a peak. So there the index is called as special index if it is greater than the previous two, but here it is called as peak. Like same term, like different terms but same meanings, right? And it a peak if it is value is greater than the two of neighbors, and we are allowed to perform the following operation any number of times. Like we can choose any index I and then increase its value by plus 1 any number of times, and we have to return an integer which denotes the minimum number of operations which are required to make the array contains at least k peaks. So in the previous question we are asked to maximize the peaks, but here we are asked to find the k peaks, and if it is impossible then we return -1. So I must again say you, please watch question number 3 before watching question number 4, as both are similar questions and we will be following almost somewhat similar approach here. So let's see the example to get it more clearly. So here we are given 2 and 2 and we want one peak. So see, if we'll make this element as a peak, then this should be greater than its both the neighbors, this neighbor and this neighbor. It is greater than this neighbor but it is not greater than this neighbor, so we have to make it greater. So 2 plus, if we increase, if we add 1 to it, then it will become 3, then it will be a peak, so our output will become 1, right? We have done one operation to make it a peak with. So let's see the second example. In second example we are given 4 5 3 6 and k is equal to 2, that is we need two peaks. So if you'll see 5 is already a peak as it is greater than both of its neighbors. Then we 6 is greater than 3, 6 is greater than 4, it is also a peak, so we already have two peaks. So the number of operations is 0, number of operations is 0, so that 0 is an answer. Next we are given 3 7 and 3 and we are asked k is equal to 2 peaks, but here if we make this element as peak then we can't make these two elements as peak. If we make this element as peak we can't make these two. If we make this element as peak we can't make two. So at most we can make only one peak, so it is not possible to make two peaks, so we return -1. So if you notice, if our array size is n, then at max we can make n by 2 peaks only. So 3 by 2 we can make only one peak. So k is greater than, if k is greater than n by 2 then we return -1 directly. This is observation from this test case. So let's see the constraints. So here the nums length, the array length can be up to 5 into 10 ki power 3, and nums of I, each element can be from -10 ki power 5 to 10 ki power 5, and k can also be up to 5 into 10 ki power 5, right? So let's see the approach. So again I am saying you that if you haven't watched question number 3, please watch it out because question number 4 and question number 3 are almost similar. So please watch question number 3 before watching this video. So let's see. So as two peaks cannot be adjacent, that we have discussed. Like see, if it is a peak then these two elements should be smaller than these two elements, so they can't be peak, right? So what we can do is we can pre-compute peak costs, like for each index. Like if we have to make each index as a peak, how much operations or how much cost we have to spend on that, so that we will be computing in the starting, right, and storing that. So how we'll be computing cost? So what we do is we'll take, suppose 5 2 6. So now we have to make this as peak, so we take both the numbers 5 and 6. Which one is maximum? 6 is maximum. So if you have to make it peak, this should be greater than the maximum plus both the greater than the maximum one, that is 6 plus 1. So we take maximum neighbor plus 1 and then subtract this value, that is 7 minus 2, that is 5. So we have to do 5 operations to make it a peak element, right? But what if it is already a peak? Then the cost is 0, right? So we pre-compute all the costs. Then it is given in the question that the array is circular. Array is circular. That means if we are taking index 0, then we can't take index n minus 1, right? Because they are adjacent. But if we are not taking index number 0, then we can take index n minus 1. So to handle this circular case, we have taken two different cases. That is, in case 1 we do not take index 0 as a peak. That means if index 0 is not considered, then we have to make k peaks in the range from 1 to n minus 1, right? This is case 1. Or case 2 is if we take index 0 as a peak. If we take index 0 as a peak, then we have already get one peak. Then how many more peaks we are required? We require k minus 1 peaks. But if we have taken 0, then we can't take 1, and we cannot take the last one, that is n minus 1. So we have to take from 2 to n minus 2. That is, we need k minus 1 peaks in the range 2 to n minus 2. And then the total cost will be cost to make 0 as the peak and the cost of k minus 1 peaks in this range, right? So if we'll notice our problem is reduced to a different problem, that is pick k non adjacent elements with the minimum cost, right? Our problem has been reduced to some other problem. So to solve this problem, we'll be using dp, where our dp state, that is dp of ij, it will tell us what is the minimum cost using first I elements to get j peaks. So if you have to get j peaks and we have used I elements, so what is the minimum cost by which we can do it? That will be stored in our dp state, right? Then how we'll be transiting this dp? So for each index or for each element, we can either take that element or we can skip it, like similar to that robber problem that we have discussed in question number 3. That same thing will be done here. So if we are skipping our current element, right? If we are skipping our current element, then to find j peaks, we need I minus 1 element, because current is ith. We are not making ith element as peak. So to get j peaks from I minus 1 element, isn't that dp of I minus 1 j? Yes, that is using I minus 1 elements to get j peaks. So dp of ij, in case of skip, dp of ij is equal to dp of I minus 1 j. This is case 1. Then case 2 is like we take the current element. That means we are making the ith element as a peak, right? So if we are making ith element as a peak, then that means we are getting one peak. And how many peaks we have to make? We have to make j peaks. So how many are left? J minus 1 peaks are left. Now if we have taken ith element as a peak, then that means I minus 1th element should not be a peak, right? So to find j minus 1 peaks, how many elements are left with us? I minus 2 elements. So we have to find j minus 1 peaks using I minus 2 elements. That is dp of I minus 2 j minus 1. And we also have to add the cost to make the ith element as peak. So dp of ij is equal to dp of I minus 2 j minus 1 and the cost of the current element, like cost to make the current element as a peak element. Now here we are using I minus 2. What if I minus 2 is not there? Like what if I is less than 2, right? In that case we will see whether the peak that we are trying, that is j minus 1, if j minus 1 is equal to 0, whether that peak is the first peak or not. If it is the first peak, then we make the previous as 0, right? Then we make this as 0, like previous cost as 0. Else it is not possible to make j peaks using I elements, right? In that case we will make the cost as infinite, right? Means to show that it is not possible. So let's see the code part. So this solve function is helping us to find k peaks or to make k peaks in the range L to R. So first, if k is less than or equal to 0, then we return 0. Then the next thing that we do is find the number of elements in our range. So that is R minus L plus 1 number of elements we have, and then we check whether is it possible to make k peaks using n elements. So by using n elements we can make at most n by 2 peaks. So if k is greater than n by 2, then we have to return infinite, means it is not possible to make k peaks using these n elements, right? This is edge case. Then we have declared a DP array. Then to make 0 peaks, the cost will be 0 only, right? So we have stored DP of ij, this thing. Then after that, what we are doing is we are taking all the cases of I and j. We are taking all the cases of I and j, where I is the number of elements used and j is the number of peaks. So j will be from 1 to k because we need k peaks, and I will be from 1 to n. So right, so the first case is like, if we are not making if we are not making the ith element as a peak, means we are skipping the ith element. That means we need j peaks from I minus 1 elements, right? That is why we are storing dp of I j is equal to dp of I minus 1 j. Then this is case 2. In case 2 we are making ith element as a peak, right? And I already told you like how we are taking dp of I minus 2 j minus 1 in the above approach. So if I is greater than or equal to 2, then that means the previous value will be dp of I minus 2 j minus 1. And if I is not greater than or equal to 2, then we see whether is it a first peak. If it is a first peak, then the previous cost is 0, else it is not possible to make j peaks using I elements. And if our previous value is not equal to infinite, then our dp of ij is equal to minimum value of dp of ij, or previous value, the previous cost that we get from this value, plus the current cost of the current element, right? That we have pre-computed. And at the end we return the cost to make k peaks using our n elements, that is dp of n comma k. This is the solve function. So in our main function we have taken the array size, and then if k is equal to 0, then we return 0. And if k is greater than or equal to n by 2, using n elements we can make n by 2 peaks, because we can't make two adjacent peaks. So at most we can make n by 2 peaks. So if k is greater than n by 2, then we return -1, means not possible to make those peaks. Then we have pre-computed the cost for each index to make it a peak, right? We have pre-computed that. Then to handle the cyclic thing, we have taken two cases. Case 1 where 0 is not a peak, so we have to find k peaks from the element 1 to n minus 1, and to find that we have used the solve function, and we have passed the pre-computed cost, and then 1 to n minus 1 k peaks we need. And the case 2 is index 0 we have taken as a peak, so we need k minus 1 more peaks, and we cannot take 1 and n minus 1 because they are adjacent to 0. So we have to find k minus 1 peaks in the range from 2 to n minus 2, right? So after this we get result of A and result of B. So suppose if result of B is initially infinite, right? So if we get solution of B not equal to infinite, then result of B is cost of 0 plus the solution that we get from the solve function. And what we need to return the minimum cost, so we return minimum of result of A and result of B. That is our final answer. But if our final answer is greater than or equal to infinite, means it is not possible to make k peaks, right? So we return -1, else we return our answer. So I hope I am able to explain you all the 4 questions properly. So if you like the solution, please make sure to like, share and subscribe the channel. Thank you.